What's up there, people? David Feldman-Makrias here again, and I want to tell you to not say sorry anymore. No apologies. Never, ever say you're sorry for anything, even if you're wrong. That's not true, okay? That's not true. I know this title might be a little bit controversial, but I want to purely look at it in a business, client-facing standpoint. Whenever you're involved with relationships, especially when they're business relationships. Again, I don't want to really go into personal matters or family matters or anything like that. But I do have this instance where I think it's really important to discuss why it's not effective to say you're sorry. So, since we were kids, at least most of us, when we do something wrong or we are found to be guilty of something or what have you, or something went wrong, we're used to apologizing, saying we're sorry. Some people are better at it than others. Some people admit they're sorry right away. Other people's never admit it. But as far as a business context, I think the rules are different and certain things apply, but other things don't. The reason I don't like to say that I'm sorry is not because I do not want to apologize. If something happens or, something goes wrong, mistakes happen. It happens every single day to every single person in a lot of different instances. And if you're in business, things are going to happen and get sent out wrong, copied wrong, budgets are going to be overspent, whatever it may be, right? Now, let's talk about the word I'm sorry. The first reason I don't like to use the word I'm sorry is because it's overused, okay? I got a little list here about what we're actually talking about, but I don't want to give it all away right away. So, why is saying sorry not recommended? The word is overused, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. There could be a connotation of not meaning it, or how do I say, not disingenuous, right? Oh, I'm sorry. That's a little bit of a disingenuous, at least to me, in a business standpoint. Whenever I hear if a vendor messed something up for us or what have you, it's like, I don't want to hear that you're sorry. If I'm the end user, I don't want to hear that you're sorry because A, it sounds disingenuous to me, and B, I don't care that you're sorry. I want you to fix it and fix it fast, okay? So that's one item why I don't like to use sorry. It's because it's overused and disingenuous. I'm going to say can come off as disingenuous. Secondly, it's a cop-out. And you end up putting more pressure on the person that you're sorry to. Oh, I'm sorry. What does that do? That's trying to relieve yourself of some sort of social pressure or business pressure that maybe you or your team messed up. And you're trying to make your other person, who you're supposed to be apologizing to, validate you and say it's okay or move forward. It puts this weird type of, oh, will you please forgive me type of thing on it, where it's like in business, nobody cares. I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Look at that. I just used it. I didn't plan to do that. But nobody cares about that. It's like, fix the dang problem, right? Fix the dang problem. Don't put the pressure on the key stakeholder that you let down. Just, say, you know what? I recognize that this isn't right. I want to fix it. Here's how I'm going to fix it. 1, 2, 3, bang, bang, bang. That's really it. Also, sorry, it seeks approval and validation. Like, you're trying to seek that approval from that person, and it comes from a point of weakness, not a position of strength. And a lot of times, you might be saying you're sorry for something when you really don't have to, because maybe it wasn't your fault. Maybe you're the advertising company and you make modifications to a website, and then the website provider or WordPress or whoever messed something up that was out of your control, right? I'm going to say maybe the incident happened that was out of your control. Then why are you sorry? You shouldn't be sorry, right? Nobody wants to hear it. And that's the big thing. So what do we do instead of saying sorry? Well, you can definitely apologize. I think a better phrase, if you had to apologize, is, "Hey, my apologies for this. This is obviously how we didn't want it to, we didn't intend for it to go this way." That's a much better instance than saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah." You know, if you want a word track, you could say, "You know what? You're absolutely right. The ad didn't go out right. We, of course, do not intend for it to go out this way. Here's what we're going to do to make up for it." Do you know that in that sentence, I did not say I'm sorry at all, but I conveyed an action, a recognizing of the frustration and how we're going to fix it. And it really comes within awareness. Did I put any pressure? Like, let's look at this. Let's say an ad went out wrong, right? Okay, and someone caught it. Okay, cool. So first response: "Hey, you know what, Mr. Client or Mrs. Client, I'm really sorry that that happened. You know, we'll do our best to fix it, blah, 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 blah." Or, "You know what, Mr. or Mrs. Client, um, Mr. Client or Mrs. Client, you know what? This ad did go out wrong. You're absolutely right. We, of course, do not intend for it to happen this way, but we recognize that there was this fault, and here's what we're going to do to make up for it." I don't even like make up for it. Here's what we're going to do to move forward. That's a good one too. Also, a great line who I learned from one of my original people I worked with. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to get better. And that one really works too. But guess what? You actually have to get better. You can't just keep saying, "Oh, I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better," and then you never get better. You have to. So that's the reason why I don't say I'm sorry, even when things go wrong, because it's a cop out. So here's what you can do. There's a way to take ownership and act and move forward forward and gain trust without always saying sorry or apologizing. Just like what I just went over. You know what? I recognize our mistake. I don't even like to say mistake. I recognize that things didn't go the way we expected. I always want to frame in the positive. I'm going to write here tips. Always frame in the positive. We recognize our mistake. Nope, I don't like that. Forget it. Change it to this is what we're going to do to get back in the right direction. Okay? Seeing that little word choice, anytime I mention the word mistake, it even pains me now. I don't like it. Forget it. Forget it. Take it out of your vocabulary. It's done. Because the more that anything is in your vocabulary, the more that it's going to permeate into your environment. So take it out. Reframe it into the positive. Okay, you know what? This happened. This is what we're going to do about it, and we're going to get back in a better direction. That sounds much more like a leader. Much more like a leader, and it helps. Just that small little detail attention to verbiage is going to help immensely. Let's see. If you do not apologize, it's not just about if you do apologize, it's not just about the apology, it's the action afterward to make it right. That's what people care about. What are you going to do to make it right? So here, we've already talked about this a little bit. What's the recommended action? The recommended action is make sure everyone is on the same page on how to rectify. If there's multiple what am I trying to say? Stakeholders or key people, then make sure, okay, this happened. This is the process we're going to put in place to make sure it works, and this is how we're going to evaluate it. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? Awesome. And then you take leadership of it, right? And of course, it depends on a person's mood. Maybe you want to give them some space before you do this right away. They might be heated. They might be really frustrated or mad. Yeah, I'll put that in here. Give space if you need, and state time that you will reconvene. Don't think I spelled that right. Maybe I did. I don't think I did. Hey, I did. So give space if you need, and state time that you'll reconvene to the party holders. That's a great way to do it. Then make sure everyone is on the same page on how to rectify the situation. After that, increase your communication frequency. If you communicate, once a week with said person, up it to twice a week, or maybe even 3 times a week, at least in the first couple weeks in the beginning. And it could be quick check-in text. It doesn't have to be long, inordinate calls. It could just be, hey, really appreciate the conversation. We're going to move forward this way. Looking forward to making this right. Simple stuff like that, right? So increase your communication frequency. And then afterwards, follow up after a while. Like if a mistake, I don't even like saying that. If something didn't go right a couple weeks ago and it's past, you think you're over it, check in on it. Be like, hey, I'm glad we're past X, Y, and Z. Or hey, I really appreciate your help with this because our process is much better moving forward. Once you do that, you're like laminating. No, what am I trying to say? Lamenting? Is that a word? You're making solid, you're solidifying your process, your approach, and that you did the right thing and things are moving in a better direction. That's all people want. People understand once they're out of their heat of the moment portion, they understand that things are going to go wrong. But you can be the person that actually addresses it, does it the right way, acts cleanly, concisely, what have you, moves on, doesn't dwell on it, and away we go. Hopefully this helps, guys. Don't say you're sorry. You have my permission to never apologize again. Just kidding. Just kidding. You should, if you need to, especially on the severity of what it is. If you overspent by a budget of $50,000 and your budget was only, $10,000, well, yeah, you're going to have to do some big apologizing for that one. But if it's little things, calibrate your action and your intensity to make it right as the situation deems, right? Normal people skills. But applying to business, don't say you're sorry anymore. Even if you are, just tell me how you're going to fix it. David Feldman-Makrias signing out. See you later.